Good morning, boys and girls. So we are back here in this text, Animal Senses, and we know that yesterday we listened to your teacher read aloud, learning more about the sense of taste and how some of these animals even have special characteristics or ways that they use their tongue. Today we're going to talk about the sense of touch. Look at this lovely photograph. What I want you to do before we get started, we've also learned that really good, strong readers often ask questions before, during, and after their reading. So before we jump in and get started, I want for you to jot down a question that perhaps you have about this sense of touch. If you don't have anything to write with, you can pause this video and go get a pencil and make sure you have a piece of notebook paper. You can even use the one that you started yesterday. Okay, so by now you should have all your materials, and again, just a reminder, I want you to write down a question that you have. Your question might be the same, it could be different from mine. Just giving you a moment to write down your questions. So you can see mine, I want to know, do they all have the same sense of touch? Like, are they all using it the same way? And then I also want to know how animals in the water use their sense of touch. So now we're going to get started. You're following along. We're right here in the text on page 34. So keep in touch. We're going to zoom in so that you guys can follow along. When you sit down to supper, you can see what you're eating. But what if you had to feel what was on your plate to tell if it was edible or not? Many animals use their sense of touch to find and identify food before they eat it. Touch is also important for getting around in the dark, for finding shelter and mates, and for avoiding danger. Let's take a look at this text box here. If you were a walrus, you'd have rows of stiff whiskers around your mouth for feeling. You'd poke your whiskers into the muddy ocean bottom to feel for food. When you found something the right shape and texture, such as a clam or crab, you'd dig it out with your tusk and eat it. Feel for food. Invite a friend over for lunch and have him feel for his food, like a walrus. Take a look. Again, this is not something that I expect you to do, boys and girls. We're just going to read this for fun. You'll need a large bowl or bucket, a trowel, sand or soil, edible and inedible objects, such as an unpeeled banana, a peanut in the shell, an unpeeled carrot, a spoon, a toy, a sponge, a bandana, or a blindfold. So step 1. Fill the large bowl or bucket with sand or soil. Step 2, bury the objects in the container. You can see that photographed or illustrated rather right here. Step 3, blindfold your friend and have him poke his fingers into the bowl and identify the objects he feels. He should pull out only the edible items, as a walrus does. Step 4, have your friend bury different objects in the container for you to identify. You should find that common objects are not too difficult to identify, but some food items may be harder because you're not used to feeling them without seeing them at the same time. Your fingers are acting like the whiskers of the walrus, feeling for food that you can't see. Feeling safe. Your fingertips are the most sensitive part of your body. Other animals use different body parts for feeling. A cat's whiskers are terrific feelers. Insects have sensitive body hairs, and birds use their feathers as feelers. No matter what they use to feel with, animals rely on their sense of touch to help them avoid danger. Slugs and snails avoid heat and sharp, dry surfaces that can dry out their bodies or cut their soft food. The star-nosed mole has tentacle-like feelers around its snout that help the animal find its way through dark, underground tunnels and keep it from going out in the open, where it might be seen by an enemy. Some animals and plants survive by being untouchable. The prickles of a porcupine keep most predators far away. The stings of bees and wasps make insect eaters stay clear. Even prickly or thorny plants are too painful for plant eaters to munch on. So now we're going to look down here at this text box. Losing touch. When you put on your clothes in the morning, you feel them against your skin. But after a few minutes, you no longer notice them. That's because your sense of touch grows tired when it is constantly stimulated by the same thing. Being able to ignore the feel or consistent touches helps an animal focus on new feelings that may mean danger or food. We read this section of the text focused on that sense of touch and how different animals use their sense of touch. I want you to jot down something that you learned. I know these were my questions in the beginning, so I'm going to open up a new Post-it note. And now I'm going to write down something that I learned about how animals use their sense of touch. Now, since boys and girls, we've been doing this a lot, I'm just including this language frame for you, and I'm not going to complete my thought. I want to see and hear from you. So right now, you need to record one thing that you learned about how animals use their sense of touch. I'm going to give you just a few moments so that you can write that down. Okay, if you need to pause this video to finish writing on your Post-it note, you may, but we're going to continue on. So the last thing we've really focused on this week is turning our wonder statements into questions, because good readers often question the text as they're reading. Why do we do that? So that we better understand what we're reading. Again, we're reading to learn new information. I bet that many of you could probably tell me a lot about how animals use their five senses now after reading and questioning this text. So what we're going to do, I'm going to open up a new Post-it note and I'll put it right up here. And I want you to think about the questions that were asked, the ones that you thought about before we started reading. You can see mine right over here. Do all animals have the same sense of touch? I want to know how animals in the water use their sense of touch. Now I want you thinking to yourself, were any of these questions that we formulated or came up with before we started reading, were any of them answered or discussed in the text? Go ahead and jot that down. Just giving you a few moments to finish your Post-it note or write down which question of yours was answered. Okay, so you can notice here, boys and girls, on this Post-it note that I have recognized that this second question wasn't really answered, but the first one was mentioned in the text. The text does discuss all animals using their sense of touch the same way. I learned that they use their sense of touch differently, such as the walrus and the mole. Now, you may have had different questions that were also answered. Maybe your question wasn't answered. Let's add one more Post-it note. We said, right, that good readers often develop questions after they've read. So now I want you to write down a question, something that you're still wondering. After learning about the sense of touch, again, we're focused on touch, not any of the other senses, but just touch. What is something that you still want to know? You can use this language frame that I've started. Again, I'm not going to include my thinking on this one because I want to see what questions you develop as readers. Okay, so after watching this video, boys and girls, and really focusing on that sense of touch and thinking about our new learning and even what questions we had throughout our learning, now it's your turn. You are going to find day 4 on your graphic organizer. You should have this printed and available. We've been working on it now since Monday. And you are going to independently complete day 4. And in tomorrow's video, we will review your responses. Great job today.